Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a nice day before we begin the video. Please subscribe and give the video a thumbs up. Roman Reigns was one of the stars who was decimated by Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman, and Bron Breakker on WWE Raw after WrestleMania 41. After what transpired on this week's Monday Night Show, an OG Bloodline member might have to step back from the action to let the only tribal chief exact his revenge. Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins revealed their alliance during WrestleMania 41, Night 1's main event after the Wiseman betrayed Roman Reigns and CM Punk. On the following WWE Raw show, the duo revealed Bron Breakker as the latest recruit to the faction. The unpredictable badass took out CM Punk and Roman Reigns. On this week's edition of the flagship show, the best in the world returned to help Jey Uso during the World Heavyweight title match against the Visionary. Interestingly, before Punk, Sami Zayn had come to the champion's rescue, but was eventually laid out by Breakker. With this in mind, the original tribal chief might also be on his way to returning, with Zayn possibly having to give up his spot in an inevitable tag team match against the heels to Roman. After last night's Raw, it seems like Punk and Zayn will team up against Seth and Breakker in a future match. However, Roman can reason with Sami that he has a personal history with Paul and Seth and would like to exact revenge first. Reigns can also suggest Jey needs more support and ask Zayn to watch his cousins back for now, as both Logan Paul and Seth Rollins are now eyeing the World Heavyweight title. Since Seth and Bron are the only two active members in the group for now, the focus may only be on Roman Reigns and CM Punk. If Paul Heyman decides to add another member in the future, then Sami Zayn can be added to the equation as well. Backlash 2025 is going to occur this weekend, with top stars like John Cena, Randy Orton, and Becky Lynch set to be featured at the premium live event. However, it looks like the OTC will be missing the Street Louis PLE. In an episode of WrestleVotes Q&A, Joey Votes shared that since Roman is expected to be at Money in the Bank on June 7, the only tribal chief may return in early June to get involved in the build-up to the show. We have Money in the Bank on June 7th. He's probably a part of that show. There's Saturday night's main event coming in May. He hasn't been on the first two. I don't know if he'll be on this one. I expect him to be a part of that Money in the Bank field, not in the match, but as part of the show. So around early June, maybe. The landscape of WWE is constantly shifting, but few storylines in recent history have held as much intrigue, tension, and long-term investment as the saga of the Bloodline. What began as Roman Reigns' iron grip on WWE evolved into a layered Shakespearean family drama that captivated audiences for over 3 years. But following recent events on Monday Night Raw, fans are once again speculating about what's next for the once unbreakable faction. The latest rumors suggest a major internal shakeup is on the horizon, and that Roman Reigns himself could be preparing to return by removing or replacing one of the Bloodline's original core members in a shocking power play that would send shockwaves throughout WWE. With Solo Sikoa now showing signs of rebellion and Jimmy Uso caught in the crossfire, it's clear that the tribal chief's patience and loyalty may have run out. Monday Night Raw has increasingly become a breeding ground for the next chapter of the Bloodline drama, even without Roman Reigns physically present. While Reigns has been on a post-WrestleMania hiatus, Solo Sikoa has seized the spotlight, asserting dominance and operating with a new degree of autonomy. What began as a loyal enforcer role has morphed into something darker and more strategic, with Solo seemingly building a version of the Bloodline in his own image. The shocking ambush of Jimmy Uso combined with the sudden involvement of Tama Tonga has introduced a new layer of unpredictability and has led to rampant speculation that the Bloodline's foundation is being rebuilt from the inside out, and not necessarily suggest a clash is imminent, and that Roman Reigns may be preparing for a dramatic return, not just to reclaim his place as the head of the table, but to do so by force. Sources backstage have hinted that discussions are underway for a major storyline twist, possibly at an upcoming premium live event or even at SummerSlam, where Reigns would return to confront Solo Sikoa and either reassert control or dismantle and reconstruct the faction entirely. In doing so, Roman may choose to remove one of the original Bloodline members as a symbolic and strategic move, likely targeting Jimmy Uso, who has become a source of instability and indecision in recent months. Jimmy's loyalty has been one of the most complicated arcs within the Bloodline saga. His initial refusal to acknowledge Roman's leadership later gave way to reluctant allegiance, followed by betrayal, then reconciliation, and now betrayal again. He's flip-flopped so often that fans and characters alike no longer know where he stands. Unlike Jey Uso, who definitively walked away to forge his own path on Raw, Jimmy has continued to linger in the shadows of both Roman and Solo, never truly taking a side nor leading decisively. If Roman returns with vengeance and clarity, he may see Jimmy not just as expendable, but as a liability. In replacing Jimmy, Roman could send a clear message to the WWE Universe and to his family that weakness and hesitation have no place in his empire. But who would Roman bring in to replace an OG member like Jimmy? That's where the intrigue deepens. WWE has access to several Samoan talents, both on the main roster and in developmental, who could be poised for a main event push. With Solo introducing Tama Tonga, a legitimate threat with real-world ties to the Anoa'i family, the door has now opened for a flood of talent from the extended Samoan wrestling lineage. Names like Jacob Fatu, often speculated to be WWE bound, could be brought in under Roman's banner as a new generation enforcer, even more ruthless than Solo ever was. Such a move would give Roman the muscle he needs while reinforcing the narrative that the Bloodline is not just about loyalty but strength. Paul Heyman's role in all of this cannot be overlooked either, as the Wiseman Heyman has historically positioned himself with whoever holds the most power. While he has stayed loyal to Roman for years, his recent on-screen body language around Solo Sikoa has sparked fan theories that Heyman is being pulled in a new direction. A Roman return would likely address this directly and force Heyman to make a definitive choice. Would he stick with the tribal chief he helped elevate or align with the rising new order led by Solo? If Heyman wavers or chooses wrong, he too could be cast out or replaced, much like Jimmy potentially would be. The removal or replacement of a founding Bloodline member would not be without precedent. WWE has always embraced change as part of its long-term storytelling. Factions evolve, and often do so with betrayal or strategic repositioning. From Evolution to the Shield to the Wyatt family, the most compelling stables often undergo painful but necessary transformations. The Bloodline is no different. If Roman wants to maintain the dominance he spent years building, he may have no choice but to sacrifice the ones who no longer serve the vision he has for the faction. Jimmy Uso unfortunately fits that description all too well right now. His recent portrayal as uncertain, conflicted, and reactive contrasts sharply with the ultra-focused Roman Reigns. That disparity could be used as a storytelling pivot, allowing Reigns to appear justified in removing his cousin for the good of the Bloodline's legacy. There's also the real-world element of WWE's brand strategy to consider. The company is now in a new era of business following its merger into TKO Group Holdings, and Roman Reigns remains one of its most valuable assets. Reigns is not only a champion in the ring, but a global ambassador and media figurehead. Having him return in a bold, story-altering role would immediately boost ratings, ticket sales, and mainstream attention. Replacing a key member of the Bloodline, especially if it's done violently and dramatically, would generate viral buzz and restore momentum to a storyline that some felt had cooled off after WrestleMania. It's the kind of move that keeps Reigns fresh and dangerous, and reminds fans that even in absence his influence never followed the Bloodline saga from its inception. The potential for this new chapter is thrilling. The thought of Roman Reigns returning not as a broken former champion, but as a calculating godfather, ready to burn, and rebuild his empire adds depth and stakes to the entire WWE product. Whether it's Jimmy or even Solo who gets cast aside, the outcome is guaranteed to reshape the faction for years to come. It could also reignite rivalries with superstars like Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, or even Jey Uso, who may feel compelled to intervene if his brother is ousted by their once-shared tribal chief. At the core of this unfolding narrative is the question of legacy. Roman Reigns has built a legacy of dominance, invincibility, and psychological warfare. To maintain that legacy, he must constantly evolve, and part of that evolution may now require him to purge the bloodline of its original DNA. The emotional impact of removing someone like Jimmy, his cousin, his brother-in-arms through so many battles, would not be lost on fans. But from a character perspective, it would cement Roman as the ultimate chess master, someone willing to sacrifice family for greatness and perception. That's the kind of complexity that has always defined the greatest WWE stories. In the coming weeks, all eyes will be on WWE programming to see how the seeds planted on Raw begin to grow. Will Solo Sikoa continue to assert control and recruit allies like Tama Tonga into his version of the bloodline? Will Paul Heyman make a decisive move or remain caught in the political crossfire? And most importantly, when Roman Reigns finally returns, will he do so with the intention of salvaging what's left or demolishing it altogether to start anew? For now, the idea that Roman Reigns could replace an OG bloodline member is more than just rumor. It's a likely turning point. WWE is clearly setting the stage for something massive, and the removal of someone like Jimmy Uso would send the kind of message only a true tribal chief can deliver. Whether that moment happens on Raw, SmackDown, or a pay-per-view spectacle, the impact will be lasting. The bloodline will never be the same, and that might be exactly what Roman Reigns wants. Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe our YouTube channel for more update news.